Assignment 4 has two parts to it. The first is an evaluation exercise, and the second is a search in Google Scholar. First of all, with regard to evaluation, we need to evaluate our information, especially in this very convoluted information age. We encounter pieces of information and we know that we need to investigate their authority for with regard to who produced it and what it appears to be in content. We have a test that we can use called the CRAAP test, CRAAP. That's one way of looking at evaluation, and that's a checklist saying, does it meet these kinds of criteria? Now, that's not necessarily as useful as you might think, because you can have something meet the criteria that you've set out and yet be fraudulent because it's done so in a sneaky kind of way. And so we need other kinds of evaluation. We need to investigate, first of all, who is the person putting this out. Second, we need to see whether the stuff that's being stated is stated similarly in other places so that it has some kind of credibility in the collective scheme of things. We need to look at each claim that's made and see whether that claim has power and validity itself. And so it's a kind of tangled web of evaluations that we need to include in our task of evaluating any piece of information. But it's crucial today. And so, what I'm going to be having you do is to actually go through a series of 3 websites that I've found on salvation and determine, on the basis of some questions, which ones are reliable. Now, this is not as simple as it may appear. You may have to go into other sources. You might have to check other websites, for example. You might have to do a little bit of investigation in library tools in order to be able to answer all of those accurately. There is a kind of bomb in the middle of one of those that people really don't always get that could change your evaluation quite dramatically from what you might think that that thing is. And so do some digging. Don't just look at the surface. And above all, don't say things like, this doesn't appear to be very reliable, or I think I can believe this because there's lots of footnotes. That sort of thinking doesn't help at all. So you've got to be able to get deeper than that to determine why you would believe something or not believe something. There's a presentation here, The Search for Truth in a Truth Challenged World, that may give you some ideas. For Google Scholar, which is going to be your first option, on the library homepage, there is a link to Google Scholar. Now, you can get Google Scholar just through Googling Google Scholar, but that won't connect your results to the resources that we have. If you click on the Google Scholar search, you log into our resources, and the two are connected so that whatever you search for in Google Scholar, if we have that particular article, it'll show up as a link on the right side of the search result. And so this is a way of making sure that you can find more full text results. I've got some information here about Google Scholar, what it is, and it's a problematic source. First of all, the search engine is terrible, just like Google is. It doesn't work on the basis of any kind of metadata. It doesn't have any subject headings. It doesn't even have common limiters like being able to limit to, say, a particular type of resource so that you can separate a book from a conference proceeding from an article. It's got second-year undergraduate research papers, papers that haven't been peer-reviewed yet, inferior papers published in inferior journals. It's got lots of stuff. But it is a bit of a port in the storm if you want to find a lot of stuff that you haven't found elsewhere. It's really the biggest academic or quasi-academic database in the world. You can get a chance here to work with a database that's different from the library's one, and you can see whether you would prefer the libraries or the Google Scholar. So it can locate obscure things, and it really demonstrates the advantage of a search interface that's more sophisticated than it is. But you can try that out. I've got some information here on types of citations you might find, and so on and so forth. There's an advanced search available through the little bar there above the Google Scholar name. Here's some information on what a citation looks like. You can find citation formatting through the little quotation mark under each citation. That will give you a citation. And you'll be looking for Chicago, which is the same as Turabian. Now, be sure that you're going to find some citations that are incomplete or that have problems with them. So you're going to have to do a fair amount more correcting than you would do with our databases. So here's assignment 4. Once again, the template. Once again, the reading. And then before I ask for your research question, I've got these 3 internet sites, and I'd like you to look at each one and answer the questions. So it's basic, straightforward stuff. Then part 3, state your research question and do a search in Google Scholar. Now, you don't want books, you don't want doctoral dissertations, you don't want sites that are described as citation or book reviews. So you're going to be looking just for journal articles. So, and you won't find the free full text that is available unless you log in through the library homepage. So please be sure you do that. Don't use AI as a search tool. It invents results, and I can very quickly discover that. I just do a little checking and I discover, hey, that one doesn't actually exist, or this one is false, or this one doesn't have the right author. It makes stuff up as it goes. So that's where the Google Scholar search is. And notice some things. Google Scholar has no subject headings, and it doesn't use truncation, so you can't shorten a word with an asterisk and then get all the variants of that word. So you can't put asterisk after church and get churches as well. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't use that symbol at all. Then you want citations for 10 articles, and they have to be in proper Chicago format as it's described in Google Scholar. And there's the citation symbol there, and that's where you'll find it. Put them in alphabetical order, just like you've been doing. And put an asterisk before each of the citations that has full text available on the right. To the right of each citation, if there's full text available, you'll see one or other kinds of links, and you can check that out to make sure that there's full text available. Put an asterisk in front of those. So you're going to be graded on wise choice of search terms. Make sure you log into Google Scholar. If you can't locate 10 articles with Google Scholar, you should probably first of all try again with something else. But indicate what you think the problem was. And as usual for the Google Scholar searches, make sure you identify all the search terms you used. Very, very important. And then there's a rubric for assignment 4. Highest grade meets these criteria. Read that through. And there's a bit of a sample answer here. I didn't give you answers to the evaluations because you should do that on your own. And here I've got a Google Scholar search. It's on Bible and racism, or Christian or Christianity and racism. And then some citations here. And once again, you can see how they're supposed to be formatted. So that's assignment 4. And I hope that you'll be able to do it successfully. Once again, let me know by email if you have any questions or problems. Thank you very much.